Welcome to the One NFP Financials and Financials Light training on producing user-defined reports. Once you have your row and your column layouts, you're going to want to actually produce the reports, and there are a lot of different options. First, let's use the analysis page, and let's move to Administration and Row Layouts. You can access this from either row layouts or column layouts. This analysis button here. Let's select, I'm going to do my expense detail and click Analysis, and I've got a budget revision column. I've got a report range, and let's hide the parameters for just a minute. The analysis feature allows for drill down. You can drill into the amounts, see the underlying transactions, research, use the navigate function to research any transactions. This makes it a very powerful tool and a very popular one for folks to use. Let's show the parameters again for a moment. You can also filter results. So let's filter by fund, and I'll filter on the Morrison Foundation. So if you'll notice, my results changed. I can now memorize this and save it to the My Reports area on my Roll Center. Now this Memorize For field, if I leave it with my name, only I'll see it in My Reports. I can put more names in there, or I can leave it blank. If I leave it blank, everyone's going to get this report. The report name is simply how it will appear in My Reports. It won't actually use that if you produce the report. Let's close this and move to the Roll Center, and we can see the saved report. I click that and it takes me directly into the filtered report in the analysis view. Now let's talk about the actual reports that you can produce. Let's search for a moment. So we have 5 options here. This one is just it's going to give you an overview report of the different reports you have in the system. So I want to ignore that for just a moment. Your first decision will be based on your column layout. How wide is your column layout, and whether you need portrait or landscape. As a rule of thumb, up to 5 columns can be displayed in the printed portrait report and 8 columns in the printed landscape report. Next, I want to talk about these first 2 reports here that are called by dim or by dimension. These are a nice feature, but you need to understand how they work. So let's go ahead and produce one. I've selected my column layout, budget to actual. General ledger view, in general, you're not going to use this field. It's a very advanced reporting function, so let's go ahead and skip it. Selected dimensions. The power of these by dimension reports is that you can create a dimension or fund or combination of dimension and funds that will create a page break in the report every time that combination changes. So here I've selected fund and cost center and click OK. I need a row layout, and I think I'm going to pick just my expense detail, and I need to enter a date range. And I'm going to preview this on screen. If we look at the header here, you can see this is Fund 100, Cost Center 100. If I move to the next page, I'm seeing a different combination, Fund 100 and Cost Center 200. So I'm getting a separate, almost a separate report for all of my different combinations of funds and cost centers. So that's a very powerful report. It's very handy to use as long as you know what you're getting with that report. Finally, I want to point out one more optional feature for you to use. Let me click Report and User-Defined Reports. When you produce a report to PDF, Word, or Excel, the report title will come from the row layout description followed by the column layout description. So let's take a look and see how that looks. I'm going to click Portrait. I've got Fund Balance and By Program, and I'm going to preview. That is the description on my row layout, and that's the description on my column layout. However, if you're naming your row layouts to help you understand what the row layout is doing, and you're naming the column layouts so you understand what the column layouts are doing, that's not always going to lend itself to a report that you want to produce. This user-defined reports option is completely optional, but it lets you define a description that will appear as the title to the report. So this time I'm going to click user-defined report again, but in this field I'm going to select that user-defined report combination that I've defined. It's the same row layout and the same column layout, and when I click preview, now I get that combination title that I've defined as my report title. Again, this is an optional feature, but it can be handy to give your reports a certain title if you'd like. Thank you very much, and keep your eye out for more training.